have your attention, please? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I repeat, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? We're gonna have a problem here.
Y'all act like you never seen a white person before. Jaws all on the floor like Pam, like Tommy just burst in the door and started whooping her ass worse than before. They first were divorced, sewing her over furniture. It's the return of the... Oh wait, no wait, you're kidding. He didn't just say what I think he did he? And Dr. Dre said... Nothing, you idiots. Dr. Dre's dead. He's locked in my basement. Feminist women love Eminem. Chicka, Slim Shady. I'm sick of him. Look at him walking around, grabbing his you-know-what, flipping the you-know-who. Yeah, but he's so cute, though. Yeah, I probably got a couple of screws up in my head loose, but no worse than what's going on in your parents' bedrooms. Sometimes I wanna get on TV and just let loose, but can't. But it's cool for Tom Green to hump a dead moose. My bum is on your lips. My bum is on your lips. And if I'm lucky, you might just give it a little kiss. And that's the message that we deliver to little kids, and expect them not to know what a woman's clitoris is. Of course they're gonna know what intercourse is. By the time they hit 4th grade, they got the Discovery Channel, don't they? We ain't nothing but mammals. Well, some of us cannibals who cut other people open like cantaloupes. But if we can hump dead animals and antelopes, then there's no reason that a man and another man can't elope. But if you feel like I feel, I got the antidote. Women wave your pantyhose, sing the chorus and it goes. I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Will Smith don't got a cuss in his raps to sell records. Well I do, so fuck him and fuck you too. You think I give a damn about a Grammy? Half of you critics can't even stomach me, let alone stand me. But Slim, what if you win? Wouldn't it be weird? Why? So you guys can just lie to get me here, so you can sit me here next to Britney Spears? Shit, Christina Aguilera better switch me chairs so I can sit next to Carson Daly and Fred Durst and hear them argue over who she gave head to first. Little bitch put me on blast on MTV. Yeah, he's cute, but I think he's married to Kim. I should download her audio on MP3 and show the whole world how you gave him an MVD. I'm sick of you little girl and boy groups, all you do is annoy me, so I have been sitting here to destroy you. And there's a million of us just like me, who cuss like me, who just don't give a fuck like me, who dress like me, walk, talk, and act like me, and just might be the next best thing, but not quite me. I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. I'm like a head trip to listen to, cause I'm only giving you things you joke about with your friends inside your living room. The only difference is I got the balls to say it in front of y'all, and I don't gotta be false or sugarcoat it at all. I just get on the mic and spit it, and whether you like to admit it, I just shit it better than 90% of you rappers out can. Then you wonder how can kids eat up these albums like volumes? It's funny, cause at the rate I'm going when I'm 30, I'll be the only person in a nursing home flirting, pinching nurses' asses when I'm jacking off of Jergens and I'm jerking. But this whole bag of Viagra isn't working, and every single person is a Slim Shady lurking. He could be working at Burger King, spitting on your onion rings, or in the parking lot circling, screaming I don't give a fuck with his windows down and the system up. So will the real Shady please stand up and put one of those fingers on each hand up and be proud to be out of your mind and out of control? And one more time, loud as you can. How does it go? I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Guess there's a Slim Shady in all of us.
これからみんなでめちゃくちゃ踊って騒ごう騒ごう。
Headbanger. Hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Give me some new. Give me some new. Give me some new. Mississippi putting it down. I'm the hottest round. I told y'all can't stop me now. Listen to me now. I'm lasting 20 rounds. And if you want me, then come on get me now. Is you with me now? Then biggie bounce. I know you dig the way I switch my style. Holla, holla. People sing around.
Hi. Good afternoon. How the devil are you? I'm quite good. I'd like to announce for you wonderful people the new Party of Women Manifesto. It's brilliant, even if I do say so myself. Would you like to see a little bit of it? Good. Well, you don't have a choice. I'll tell you why I've done it. I've done it because whilst Party of Women is a not a protest vote, a disruptor, that really, without apology, talks about women. And I just want to say sorry to Scotland Scorpio. No. I was replying to someone else who's like, Eminem's a misogynist. It's like, okay, and who isn't? I can't only like music not made by misogynists. I'd be listening to like Suzanne Vega 3 times a week or something. Anyway, so let's show you. Ready? Are you ready? Oh, let me tell you why. That would be good. So there was a report out this morning. I think the European Human Rights Commission, some tedious, kind of overly funded, doesn't really do a job that anyone can recognize, or is what like an NGO basically is a government who can't be asked to do the work, and so they sort of they get government money, so they don't have the power of the government, but the government can get away with not doing its job. It's a really sticky, messy, nasty. Oh yeah, I did a history of art degree, and now I work for the human the Equality and Human Rights Commission. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I went to a great school, really well networked, and I did 3 years in India, and now I've come back to do a job. I'm magnificently well paid, no accountability whatsoever, and really no responsibility. But the government can then say that someone else is sorting it out. It's wonderful, so wonderful. And so, yeah, that's what I've been doing, basket weaving in Afghanistan, protecting artisan crafts. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. We are talking about NGOs. We are talking about numerous NGOs and charities that kind of do the job that the government should be doing because the government isn't doing it. And I think we really do need to get past that. They say if you want to be well paid, make a charity. I think I read about a charity the other day who had 127 million, and 102 million was spent on lawyers, and something like 2% of that 127 million, it might have been in America, but 2% of that 127 million, might have even been a cancer charity, had actually gone to whatever it did, whatever it needed to. In charities, and then the other place to really earn a fat lot of money is if you start a religion. So, welcome to my church. As they say in Insomnia, this is my church. So that's a good way to really secure up some money. If you want, I don't know, a 6-figure, if you want like 120 grand as a bare minimum, if you want that sort of salary, set up a charity, pay yourself really well. And if you're super clever, what you can do is you can set up a number of charities, and you can be on many of the charities, and you can just rake in the money, and everyone thinks you're doing a really great job. But the NGOs in particular are terrible. They pay their mates, and it's a non-government government. That's what it is. It's a non-government arm of the government. No accountability, absolutely shitloads of cash. Nobody has to tell you where it goes. It doesn't have to do the job it does. It can just merely issue guidance. And that's basically what the European, Equality and Human Rights Commission did. It said that there may be a case now, sometimes when you're not a woman, when you say you're a woman, when you're a man. And it's just bullshit. So it made me think that I really should clarify where I stand. And I thought there's no better way than a manifesto. I'm just going to make sure that we have some good. Great. Okay, this is Party of Women. So I founded it. It took nearly a year, let me tell you, and thousands of pounds. And I'm just going to make sure you can see. Now I'm getting into the other bit. Okay. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can read it. You might not be able to read it if you're on a phone. So this is what we are now going to deliver as Party of Women. So everybody's really crystal clear where I stand on everything. And I will just reflect, for example, and I'm not saying that this is a charity to rob everybody of money. But Sex Matters, who many of you may give money to, and and obviously then that money doesn't pay for the court cases. I don't think. I think Sex Matters then have to raise money for court cases, but I'm not sure. They might, as part of their charitable coffers, what they might do is they might provide legal protection. But I'm not 100% sure. But I do think there's quite a lot of people working, like paid employment at Sex Matters. But I don't know this. And Helen and Maya and Fiona, I'm sure, have all the intention in their sort of scope and where they come from in the sort of how they operate. I'm sure that they are doing their absolute best. I really don't want to criticize them, saying that they don't believe in what they're doing, or they think that men really can be women, or anything like that. I don't think that. I just want you to be super aware that when you come from a professional journalism, professional environment, and when that's how you've made your living, it's very difficult to come away from that. Like, you see it all the time, that people get conditioned into what they can and can't say, what they can and can't expect. And the reason that these systems, which are really, really slow, the reason they're really slow is everyone is invested on them being slow, and nobody, once they're in the system, thinks that they can do anything outside the system because they're stuck in that system. And that may sometimes be true. So I'm just saying that because I'm not in the system, I don't feel limited by the way the system is set up, right? I don't feel that I have to do things incrementally and in sensible, nice, respectable conversations, and network with other people who are sensible and nice and have respectable conversations. Like, that's how some people work. That's not how I work. I haven't got time for that. It's not a limit or a cage that I wish to imprison myself in. So one of the things they do say, which I totally disagree with, is that they don't think it's worthy of respect in a democratic society that employers or service providers should be able to discriminate against somebody who calls themselves trans. So they say it's they sort of say that women and children should be protected, and it's all like really polite language, and that raises questions about the suitability of someone who is not honest about their sex or their sexual fetish, who demands that children and vulnerable people whom the service supports validate their identity. Now, let's remember that when Maya was in an interview, Maya said quite clearly that she would have to find a way for children to address a teacher who came to work dressed as a woman, which I would argue is a fetish, that she would have to find a way for them to interact with that teacher. So Sex Matters, basically, they don't particularly want to repeal the GRA. They just want to strengthen the Equality Act, which I think is a really bad idea. I think every time you strengthen the Equality Act or you redo the Equality Act, A, it takes years and years and a lot of money, and B, it's much easier just to throw it all away. So they also say it's not worthy of respect to expect that everyone else pretends that your sex doesn't matter. So, and remember that what happened in that ruling with Maya, that they said that misgendering could be classed as harassment, right? So really, for me, this is just leaving a lot of doors wide open for all of this shit to happen again, and actually for us not to firmly eradicate it. So I'm just going to check that you can see. No, you can't see that. Anyway, you can't see any of that. Let me just show you what I was talking about, and then I knew I'd do that wrong. It says that it's swapped, but it wasn't. So this is what I'm talking about, just so you can be clear. I won't leave this up for very long. Okay. So instead, let's have a look at what Party of Women will do. Which we're not a charity. We don't have rich donors. We don't have people with extraordinarily deep pockets. Um, we don't. We just. We don't have that. We'd like that, please, but we don't have it. So this is our manifesto. So Party of Women manifesto commitments: restoring reality and law, protecting women and girls. So we are the Party of Women. We believe that biological sex is real, immutable, and fundamental to understanding and protecting the rights, safety, and dignity of women and girls. Our laws, public institutions, and national life have been captured by our ideology. Language has been twisted, truth has been obscured, and women have paid the price. We are committed to reversing this and restoring common sense and reality. And can I just tell you, I'm currently writing a part of the manifesto that really looks at mothers and motherhood, and how we work this into a workable format for women and society, where actually having more children, and staying at home with those children, if you'd like to make that choice, is a choice that you genuinely can make. Because I think at the moment, for most people, it's not a choice they can make. And I can tell you, women in jobs, not women in careers, but women in jobs, they don't really want to go back to work when their children are like 1, 2, 3 years old. We stand for clear and truthful language. We stand for truthful language. Clear, honest, and reality-based language is a foundation of a fair and functioning society. Without it, we cannot defend rights, protect the vulnerable, or make good law. We will eradicate ideological and nonsensical language from all government departments, legislation, and public services. Ban the use of terms like assigned at birth, cisgender, chest feeding, and other invented language that distorts biological truth. Require all public institutions to use plain, truthful language based on sex, not gender ideology. Restore restore the use of words like woman, mother, girl, and female where they've been replaced or erased. And the public deserves clarity, not confusion. We will end the misuse of language that obscures reality and enables harm. Repealing the Gender Recognition Act. Now, this for me is a pièce de résistance. As far as I'm aware, WDI and probably Safe Schools Alliance, although you don't hear much of them lately, are the only two other organizations that have been clear about wanting to repeal the GRA. So Sex Matters hasn't said that they want to. Correct me if I'm happy to be corrected, by the way. Women's Rights Network have never said it. Fair Play for Women, they didn't say it. Women's Place, they definitely didn't want it. Philia doesn't want it. So none of these other supposed women's organizations that know that men are men and women are women, they don't want to repeal the Gender Recognition Act. They say it's too difficult. So all of those suck femmes, all of the women on the left, they don't want to do this. They're quite happy for the status quo, for these men on some occasions to be recognized as women. It's insane. So the Gender Recognition Act enables individuals to legally change a sex marker on their birth certificate. This legal fiction has been used to erase women's boundaries, disrupt sex-based services, and confuse public policy. We will repeal the Gender Recognition Act in full, end the legal recognition of gender identity, or gender reassignment. I must amend that. Ensure all laws and official records are based on biological sex only. Protect women's rights to single-sex basis, service, and opportunities with no exceptions. Repeal the Equality Act. So the Equality Act has been used to smuggle gender ideology into every corner of public life, from schools to healthcare to prisons. It's confused sex and gender, silenced women, and elevated identity over material reality. We believe this act does more harm than good. It is not fit for purpose. We will repeal the Equality Act, remove gender reassignment and other ideological concepts from legal protection, replace the act with new legislation that defends sex-based rights, free speech, and material reality, and ensure that no one compels public or professionals to lie about sex. Withdraw from the European Court of Human Rights on human rights. It's become a tool for imposing ideological interpretations of rights that conflict with national sovereignty and women's protections. We will withdraw from the UK and the ECHR, end the jurisdiction of the European Court of Human Rights over UK law, introduce a British Bill of Rights that defends truth, freedom of speech, sex-based protections for women and children, and restore full democratic control over our laws, language, and public life. So a final one, which might be a little controversial, but I feel it needs said, it needs being, it needs addressing. Migration and the safety of women and girls. Migration policy must be shaped by truth, transparency, and responsibility. We must never overlook the safety of women and girls. We will ensure that all decisions around immigration and asylum take into account the impact on women's safety, particularly in housing, services, and public spaces. End the practice of housing single men with women and children in asylum or migrant accommodation. Require a full sex desegregated data on migrants and asylum seekers. Prioritize female safeguarding in all public policy related to migration and border control. A country that cannot protect its women is failing. We will make women's safety a central consideration in every immigration decision. Our vision. A society that respects the truth and speaks plainly. Women and girls protected by law, not redefined out of existence. Public services that are honest, functional, and free from ideology. And a country that governs itself, protects its own, and tells the truth. Party of Women, dare to be honest. We are the only political party that says what everyone knows to be true. Men cannot become women. Words have meaning. Biology is not bigotry. We will repeal harmful legislation, restore legal and linguistic clarity, and put women's rights, safety, and language back at the heart of British law and life. What say you, people? What say you? I would like to insert things about women, work, and motherhood. I'm looking at that right now. I'd like to see a nation that prioritizes mothers. And I know look, we were all children. So even if you don't want to be a mother, you were once a child. And every child has the right to actually be considered, because we don't just fit in. There are reasons that we are falling apart. So I would like to eradicate the word gender, though. So I'm also going to have to remove that from my article. But I just think there's lots of things happening in our society which are pretty bad for women. And they come from two places, and we're not allowed to say it, but I've got to say it, because what's the point of me? The eradication of the importance of motherhood, and I don't know if we've ever been important, but I do think that there was at least a pretense that mothers were important. So I'd like to see mothers being more important. I'd like for us to be able to recognize and speak really clearly about the threat of Islam on our fundamental rights as women in this country. There is not a single country that's governed by an Islamic government or a theocratic Islamic kind of authoritarian state where women have equal rights. In fact, they seem to be getting worse and worse in those countries. So I would like to see us being able to have honest conversations about what their sort of rise in Islam and Islamic displays of authority in this country, what that means to women and girls. Because we just don't seem to be able to talk about it, and we have to talk about it. And when we talk about Islam and the rise of the authoritarianism of Islam, Sharia courts, you've got academics who are Muslim women in Europe who freely talk about how dangerous Sharia courts are for women, and how often they're about marriage and about women's rights in the home in Islam, and how fundamentally women just totally lose out in these courts. There's nothing fair about it whatsoever. And also, I think we really do need to address some of the really dangerous, violent, misogynist language coming out of some of these, some of the mosques and from the imams. And they wield a lot of power over their flock. I think that we have to be able to talk about the the recession in some of the sort of pagan or Christian festivals that we've had in this country, and how in London, for example, they've totally ignored Easter, but they've celebrated Eid. And we don't have a big enough population of Muslims to mean that we don't mention Easter, and Easter doesn't, we don't do 6 weeks of Lent. We've never done that. I don't know why we would have 4 weeks of Eid as if to balance Christmas. So I think that's really important for women and girls, because it's our right. We're the ones that are going to lose out. And it might be our men that sort of try and protect us. And by our men, I mean non-Muslim. It might be the men that have enough and go out. But this particular ideology and certain parts of the ideology, so it might be Shiite Muslims rather than Shia Muslims, right? It might be a specific culture within that. But I do think we need to talk about it, because I think it's really dangerous for us, for our safety of our daughters, and for the safety of women and girls just walking about this place and having the liberty to walk around our streets and feel safe. And I know some people say, oh, it's men. The problem is men. It's not, actually. There are certain cultures that have different views about women that really do spill into their public behavior that's very dangerous for us. So I would like to discuss that. But you've just got this pincer movement from woke on one side, so men on the left, like nice little horseshoe, meeting very closely with authoritarian religious men on the right that are Muslim. So you've got these two things that are going to really, really attack us. And they will, and there's no place for women and women's rights and equality and freedom and liberation in either of those places. There is none. So I just really need all of us to start thinking about those things. And for me, that's what the Party of Women is going to do. And how we influence others is by going out and talking about it. So if you're with Party of Women, we are working together with Let Women Speak to go and do some tables and some local activism. We have a candidate in the local election over in I'm going to say Cambridgeshire, but I think it's Norwich. And I will be talking about her tomorrow and promoting her. So I'd really like as many of you as possible listen in tomorrow, and then you can find out how you can go and help her, because I think it would be great to have a counsellor, especially one who hasn't been in loads of different parties or loads of different actions. She's not like an animal rights activist that worked doing PETA, and then she was Greenpeace, and then she was this, and then she was that. This is a woman that found this issue and has really focused on this issue, and she's very passionate, and she often gets quite cross with people because they're not actually doing anything. They're just sitting and whinging. So Bev is sometimes in the chat, but she could do with some help, and I think it would be great to help her out. Like I said, this is her issue. She's very much like me. There's not been a billion different things that she's wanted to shout about in the past. Personally, I've only ever really talked about the rise of Islam in this country and the danger it poses to women, and then this issue. But this really is the only one I've ever sort of campaigned on. But I'm prophetic. What can I say? So if you want to see a party that represents you and what you believe in, and let me just you have to join Party of Women. That's what you have to do. And let me tell you how to do it. There we go. Join Party of Women, and you can start seeing the things that you feel are important reflected. I think most of us are worried about our towns and cities and our kids being safe. I think, town centres with Muslim calls to prayer, I think, is such a backward step for this country. I can't even. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. Can you imagine living somewhere at 5 o'clock, 5 times a day, and starting at 5 o'clock, you have to listen to a Muslim call for prayer? I mean, it's just outrageous. When it comes to the European Court of Human Rights, I feel that is not fit for purpose. I don't think it helps anyone that really needs to. It hasn't helped a single one of us retain rights as a woman in this country. Not a single person. In fact, if you took it, the only thing the European Court of Human Rights has done has awarded people, men who want access to women-only spaces, it's afforded those men that right. Same for the European Union and the way that's run. And then when it comes to the Equality Act, the most times the Equality Act is used, frankly, is in work situations. So I do think you should have some rights over maybe disability. Definitely, we should have a Disability Rights Act. I think you should have a Women's Act and a Men's Act. So you might have a Women's Act that deals with maternity, menopause, endometriosis, and other associated chronic conditions that women have, that only women have. And I think the same for men. I think there should be certain things that's working environments or other places that we have rights and responsibilities. I think that men should have an act too, and I think we should have a Children's Act. But the Equality Act, lumping everything in together where you're competing, what's more important? Somebody's right to be a Christian at work or a Muslim? Like, what if those two things clash? How on earth do you like? Surely it should just be like, you are not a religion at work. Maybe that's where we need to go. Anyway, do join. If you've got some spare cash, do get yourself a nice top. Because come on, is there a better logo than that? I don't think there is. I can guarantee to you with an absolute 100% certainty that there is not a political leader in this country, not one, who understands what the GRA means and what men and women space is and why. I can't disclose, but let me just say, if you meet a man who claims to understand this and he comes up with the idea that you can change your bodies through hormones and you're not really a man anymore, I don't think he quite gets the issue, do you? But that isn't the case here at Party of Women. So join up and we'll do this, won't we? I mean, it's really simple at the end of the day. You just have to say, he's a man! Bristol was brilliant. The policing was brilliant. Well done to the Bristol team. So if you can speak the truth and not be afraid or wait for other people to come up with some ideas or join in when the war is already won, then I promise we will win. If you can find out what you can do for Party of Women or Let Women Speak, join up, join our locals. We've had to switch over to some closed, vetted groups just because of the Online Safety Act, I think it might be. But whatever it was, it could have landed me with thousands and thousands of pounds worth of whatever. I hope you're not talking to me, whoever that is in the chat. Yeah. So anyway, you get vetted, you can join forums, you can meet people. And our local network is growing exponentially, and Laura is amazing. And if you can join Party of Women and come over and join Let Women Speak, so you can do some incredible actions in that actually genuinely make a difference. We're not just talking like sending letters, because I can't bear that. I'm talking like genuine action that makes a difference, doesn't just take up your time, but genuinely makes a difference. Then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because wondering what I've done. Because I never lose.
For I could swim Loch Lomond and be home in half an hour. Maybe the air gave me the drive, for I'm all aglow and alive. What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. All the music